So to begin with, the story is about a baker and it relates to the old Portuguese days. So as I told you that what it is, the story is about how bakers they invaded, how bakery basically came into India and how bakers they established their profession into bakery. And it also relates to the old Portuguese days when these people they invaded India and how these people started the concept of bakery. Traditional baker who still has an important place in a society. So if we think of it, traditional bakers they still have a good value, a good position in our society. Now, if you know that still there are many people who are they believe in all these traditions that on particular occasion they're supposed to bake something, they're supposed to have something. Like if I talk about marriages or reception, even till now we cut cake on birthdays. So traditional bakers still they have the same place, the same important place in our society, and not just the traditional bakers, otherwise also bakers hold a very good position in our society. What changes take place in the life of baker with the passage of a time? A glimpse of it is present in the story. So what we are going to read about is that how and what all changes have taken place in the life of baker. Now if we see, so elders and kids loved famous loaves of bread. So now when the story begins, first of all the writer is just telling you how and why everybody loved bread. There is no doubt that even nowadays it's very common. Every household, I believe every household has loaves of bread. Everybody likes to eat bread, or at least once in a week every household consumes bread. So earlier, if you go back to the yesteryears or the in early 20th century, or we talk about, so what people used to do, people used to feed on bread. They used to eat bread a lot, and kids they were crazy about bread. So there's one thing that people loved, that is also known as bread bangles, as you can see it in the picture. So bread bangles, basically now we have a better version of it and we also call it as donuts. So bread bangles are basically it is made from a loaf of bread which is in the shape of a bangle. If you can see it here also. So what kids used to do, kids used to wear it in their wrist and sometimes eat it in a very funny way. And basically the name is bangle because of there is a huge hole in between. So this was something that people enjoyed. Kids used to enjoy eating it. They loved it. Okay, now what happened? The age-old furnaces still bake bread. So if you go to Goa, or even if you see in your city also, almost everywhere you'll find that these old furnaces that still where breads are being baked. Baker announced his arrival by the thud and jingle bamboo stick. Now what used to happen, every day you will find that there are kids who used to be sleeping, and then there was one person who was also known as baker and who used to travel. So his name was also baker because he used to bake and he used to travel from home to home in order to sell these bread. So earlier this was the phenomena. So what baker used to do, baker would carry a huge basket and a bamboo stick. Sometimes he would carry that basket on his head, and sometimes he would carry it in his hand, something like that. And sometimes he would even place his bamboo stick on the ground, and then on the top of it he would be placing his basket. So in that basically tray he would have lot of loaves of bread, different varieties of bread, and he would go from place to place by producing some tug and jingle from his bamboo stick. He would beat his bamboo stick on the ground and would produce some sound. So that sound was actually the symbol of this baker's arrival. That baker has come, has arrived. People used to know by that sound. Now baker used to visit every place twice a day. So baker early in the morning and in the evening, or while returning or going back to his shop. So little kids and people, they would get so excited as soon as early in the morning they would hear the sound. So kids, they would run and meet the baker in order to take these bread bangles. So kids were very excited about it. Even today these bakers are known as padder in Goa. Now if you ever get a chance to go to Goa, you'll see that still these bakers are still there, and they are being given a name, that is padder, and they are being called by this name. So children run happily to meet them and wait for their bread bangles. So every day this would happen. Every other day, as soon as the baker would come, kids would go run to them and would purchase these bread bangles. Now, if we compare the past time with the present time, still everything is same. But bakers, they don't go to street in order to sell their bread or their cakes or all these things. Bakers, they don't do it nowadays. Though there are other people who do it, but it's not the baker. Baker, what they do is they just bake and they sell it to the shopkeepers, or the medium basically has changed. Now, as kids got very excited, so kids would just run and would purchase their favorite bangles. They would see what all variety of bangles they are having and they would try and just enjoy eating it. Now, it's not just the kids and the elders who were very excited. Bread hold a very meaningful position in the society at that time, especially in Goa. In Goa, everything was meaningless if you're not having bread, especially marriage's gift. If in marriages sweet bread was not there, it was considered as meaningless. The marriage was not considered great or luxurious, as we can say, agar shadi mein this bread is not there, which is also known as bor. So the sweet bread which you eat nowadays, also you have it, sweet bread. So that was earlier known as bor. So lady of the house used to prepare sandwiches on her daughter's engagement. So this was also compulsory for if anyone's daughter is getting married. So the mother or the lady of the house was supposed to make sandwiches. Again, how you make sandwiches? From bread. And who bakes bread? It's baker. So that's why marriages also were incomplete. Engagement was also incomplete without any baker's bread or without any bakery product basically. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas and other festivals. Cakes and bolinas are again a sort of bread. It was must for Christmas and other festivals. Other festivals also, Christmas and other festival would be again meaningless if cakes were not there. And I believe this is true even for today as well. Even if we talk about today, if it's anyone's birthday or maybe New Year or maybe Christmas, every time people they cut cake. And suppose it's your birthday and if you have not cut cake, then what do you think? You think that your birthday is still going on. It's not over yet. Okay. Birthday without cake is not even a birthday. So similarly, these things were very common in those days. Bakers used to wear a dress known as kabai. So what bakers used to wear a dress. So bakers had a particular dress, which costume which they used to wear, which you might have seen it also even in some ads also. I think it's in Pittsburgh ad, the Pittsburgh wheat one ad. So if you see it, there's bakers used to wear white color long frock sort of structure, and they used to have huge white color cap. So this was their dress code, and sometimes they would also wear the shirt was till almost till your thigh, and under it they would wear crop, we can say ankle length or crop trouser they were wearing, but it was always of white color. You might have seen it in ads also. So this was the dress code of baker, which is also known as kabai. So now we have seen that how much importance these bakers had in our society, especially even during the early 20s. So baker was not only just a normal profession at that time; it was quite profitable profession. Like people have never heard that baker family is suffering because they are not having money. They were not well off. Bakers were very quite profitable profession. So people who used to bake, they used to earn a very good amount even at that time. So now, and monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall with pencil. So now what bakers used to do, bakers were not having a proper notebook or like a proper computer file to make their records. It was not there. So how bakers used to maintain their accounts, they basically used to write everything on the wall with pencil. So wherever they were baking in that small store or in their kitchen, they were having a wall. So on that wall, they used to write their accounts with pencil. pencil, and every month they would erase it and then write the accounts of another month, all the records of another month. Baker's family looked happy and prosperous. So if you see Baker's family, they also looked very happy and they looked prosperous because they were having a lot of money. They were wealthy people who were earning well during those days. They were not suffering because they were not having money to eat anything. Baker was a profitable profession, and we can clearly see that how people used to give importance to bakery products, like to bohilnas, to bor, to bangles, to bread. People used to give a lot of importance to all these things, and that's why bakery was actually a profitable profession. Now, presence of baker's furnace in Goan village is essential. So if you ever get a chance to visit Goa or to the small villages of Goa, parts of Goa, so you'll find that it's very common. Bakery is very common over there. People, they bake. It's something that is very common over there even nowadays. And at that time, it was also considered as a good thing that if there is a baker present in a village, it was considered कि ये village बहुत अच्छा है because they have a bakery. So over and all, what we learn in this chapter is that how bakery was still present and people used to like bakery products even during that time. Okay, and bakery was not just a normal profession, it was also a profitable profession where people used to get a good amount of money from there. Kids and elders, they loved eating bakery, and kids used to get excited. They used to wake up with the thug and the noise of the bamboo stick of the baker. So this was all in this chapter.